Hello guys, welcome to a new video on Tower of New World. And in this video, I'm going to go over the changes I made to the Revolution tab. And the one you see on the screen is the old one, the one that's always been available on my spreadsheet. But now I changed the layout because this one, as you can see, is just not that clear. There was a lot of information missing, like the order at which you should upgrade the subnodes. The priority was kind of okay, but we had redundant information here with the unlocked here. It was kind of needed for the formulas, but now I changed them. And it was also too wide, if we can say so. So you had to scroll a lot to get the information. It was pretty dispersive. So I figured I'd just redo it and try to make it a lot easier to just read. So yeah, this is the new version that you can see now on the screen. You will see that there is some additional information here and there, and also an order at which you should kind of try to upgrade the subnodes. So yeah, this is more or less the idea. Let me just shrink them a bit because I don't think we need them too wide. But okay, I mean, the final touches I will do before I publish it on my server. But regardless, this is the new version, and I'm going to go over some details right now. The first two columns are obviously related to the unit. There is the name, rarity, and role. These are going to be needed for the formulas that will automatically fill in the data for the stats and other things, and also the costs. But that's more or less it. It's only used for formulas. That's the only reason why it's there. Then we have the investment columns. In here, we can find in the first one the green fragments, orange fragments, and purple fragments cost to get the unit to the nice to have investment. That is the one that I recommended here. So all the subnodes and the highest tier that I have put here in nice to have. So this 950 is going to be to get the unit to T4. This 1950 is going to be to take the unit with, I think currently only 10 levels of effect resistance. There is nothing else, right? So yeah, that's pretty much the cost that you can find here. Obviously, Revolution ore is going to be tied to tier 6, both the main node and the subnodes. So that's it for the cost column. That is the amount you can expect to spend maximum on a unit. You don't really have to invest in the subnodes for some units. And I also wrote a note here at the top. These T4 to T6 subnodes upgrades on SSR units are not recommended. Give priority to SSR plus units. And that's because the scaling of T4, T5, and T6 subnodes really sucks for SSR units. And in general, those resources are not really easy to come by. So you really want to focus more on the SSR plus ones. Just don't worry about the subnodes for SSR in general as a rule of thumb. Only focus maybe on tier 1, 2, and 3 because those are a bit better and some nodes are kind of helpful. So for sure, those 3 tiers are fine. It's just T4, 5, and 6. So that's the note that we have here at the top. Then we have 2 more columns in the investment section. And those are the usual investment levels that I talk about in my videos. So mandatory, recommended, and nice to have. The priority is usually only referred to take the unit up to T2. In reality here, I kind of took into account also the nice to have, so you could refer to it also for that. But yeah, and you will also notice that I added the very low priority before it just went down to low, but I added an additional one just to make a further level of distinction, let's say. Now, priority in this case is only for Revolution investment. This does not mean that if a unit has, for example, high priority, you should also get dupes for that unit. This is just if you already have the unit to the required level of dupes that will allow you to get to a certain tier of Revolution, then the priority applies. But you don't have to worry about a must priority unit if you don't have the unit. You should not dupe it up only because of Revolution, okay? So this is the first thing. The second thing is that you might want to invest on a unit that has lower priority based on your circumstances. And what I mean by that, I mean that if you have a unit that is not needed in your current scenario, don't go for it. Like, let's say you have, let's go down below here. You already have an add-on maxed out with all the revolution and stuff, whatever. And this guy is a mass priority. Okay, great. If we go next, I think the only high one, okay, no, we have a couple of high ones, but let's take the first one we have here. Compressed rack is high priority. And for example, Shibisu is medium. But we already have a DPS unit that's pretty strong. Do I need compressed rack? You have to ask yourself this question. It could still be yes, but let's say in my case, no, I don't need him because I also have an Iwa build. She doesn't have investment in Revolution, but doesn't really matter. She's still a DPS that's going to support add-on a little bit. So do I need compressed rack? Not really. So even if the priority is high and I have compressed rack or Rainbow 5, I might still say, okay, but I do need a frontline unit that can also debuff the enemies, decrease their energy, blah, 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 some stuff. And Shibisu is an option. I see that the priority is medium, so it's lower than compressed raw. But is a unit I'm planning on using, I would need to use because of my current circumstances. So to me, that medium becomes a higher priority than compressed raw because that's a unit I actually need. So all of these, like this whole example, just to tell you guys, make sure you are investing on a unit you actually need because a unit might have an higher priority, but might not be the unit you need for your current situation, let's say. So always take that in mind. My priorities are not set in stone. They could be adapted to, again, your current situation, your current play style, your current teams, whatever that is. So yeah, keep that in mind. So that's it for the priority column. Then we have a section where I go over tier 1, 2, and 3. I decided to move them all together here because there was really no need for more space for them. They only have one substat and that's it. So that's pretty simple. I decided to make 3 rows for them here. And we have the level of the sub node here as well. I added this order column that we can see. Now all the numbers go from 1 to 9 because we have 9 substats in total. And there is also the not applicable. Not applicable to me means you should not go for that stat. Now, this is not absolute again, because if you are into PvP, there are some stats you still want to go for, even though they're not here in my spreadsheet. But as I said multiple times, I'm not covering PvP because one, that content is extremely whale oriented. If you're not a whale, I would say don't think about it because whales will always have the upper end. They will have so much investment on ignition weapons, on revolution and stuff that you really cannot beat them. So just save yourself the headache, forget about it, focus on adventure, bossing, whatever, and just chill out a bit because PvP is extremely expensive. Now, if you still want to go for it, uh, again, my spreadsheet is not going to help out much. Make sure to jump over to my Discord and ask questions there. If I know the answer to them, I will try to reply because I'm also not that into PvP in general. I know some things because I've been told, and I talked with a lot of people that are competing for the top spots in the high rank arena. So I do know some stuff, but really not much and not much first-hand experience. So yeah, just make sure to head over to my Discord. There might be some people that can help you out there. But again, this is just a quick disclaimer or whatever. So this is it for the first columns here related to tier 1, 2, and 3. The order is pretty self-explanatory. I tried to give them an upgrade order that made sense and that gave the most value. To decide whether to go for crit damage, pierce, or crit rate, it was fairly simple because I could use the calculator that I made and that I shared with you guys in a previous video. So that was pretty easy to do, I would say. But for attack, for example, cooldown reduction and other things, it was a bit more difficult to define a priority. So again, take this also with a grain of salt. It's not set in stone. I might change it. There might be some things that don't make sense, but at least should give you guys an idea of what I think could be a good order. Again, there is also no really good answer here. Could vary based on the situation. So yeah, just keep that in mind. And there is also one additional thing that I did not mention before. Here in the top left corner, you see this color with level it just enough. And you can see that there are some cells that have this color as a background. And this just means you don't have to overinvest in it if you don't need it. For example, accuracy. If you already have more accuracy than the enemy evasion, no need to invest in it, especially if you are like if you don't have a lot of resources. Don't waste them, even though they are low most of the times for accuracy, because it's an early node. You don't really need a lot of orange mats. But why use them if you're already over the enemy accuracy? The enemy evasion. This is just one of those stats that don't bring you any benefits if you have too much of it, because as long as you have the same amount as the enemy evasion, you're not going to miss. So that's the thing with this color that you see here in the top left corner. And I only used it for accuracy and crit rate. Those are the only two. Like if we scroll down, we will see also here crit rate. Now the ones for SSR, it's unlikely. Like you can easily go with 10 levels, no problem, because it's unlikely you will overcap it. So I just put it in case, but not really that needed. But again, we go back to the topic before that you should not invest in SSR T4, 5, and 6 subnodes because they're just not that great. As you can see here, we have a 23.7% against a 90% from an SSR Plus. Now here, to stay on the safe side, I still only recommended 15 levels. Could be 16 for some, could be less for others. It all depends on your base crit rate, but do not invest more than you need. And when you'll change your ignition weapons, your crit rate will change. You might need more. At that point, invest to get to that 100%. And again, this does not apply for PvP because enemies will have crit hit resistance. So you need all you can get for PvP purposes, not for adventure and bosses. So that's also the idea behind this level it just enough. If you have a better wording for it, let me know. I can easily change it, no problem. And yeah, for the tier 4, 5, and 6, we also obviously have the information here on the main stat. And we have, sorry, not the main stat, the skill upgrade. Wait a second, guys, because I think I forgot to, okay, whatever, I have to make a visual change here to make sure that also the stats here for tier 6 are going to take all the space they need. But whatever, okay, I just went out of topic here. So for tier 4 and 5, we have a skill upgrade. This is going to be the first value we see here in the columns dedicated to that tier. And tier 6 will have an arena buff, so this only applies to arena. So yeah, the information is there. We are going to see the 2 subnodes that this tier has and the required investment that I wrote with the respective priority. Again, same thing as before. There is not much I have to say here, I believe. And units that don't have the tier 4, 5, and 6 will have this black area in here. I'll say no big deal. I could make it all blank. Let me know what you prefer. If black is too intrusive, I can just make it black. Doesn't matter. It's fine. Or white. Okay. So yeah, this is more or less the idea. I don't think there is much else to say in this video. Just make sure to have a look at it. Let me know if there are any things that don't make sense to you, anything I should change. I spent quite a lot of time to migrate the data, so I hope this new visualization makes sense to you and it's helpful. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I will see you guys in the next video, which I hope can come out tomorrow. I will be moving back to my hometown, so I don't know if I can make it. I will try to, and hopefully it's going to be like the tier list video or something because there are some additional changes that I wanted to make. and some units to downgrade, some units to move up the rankings. So I will probably make a tier list update soon, and I will probably make a waifu tier list as well because it's been requested. I promised it, so I have to do it, and I will for sure make it before we have the release of Garam. So make like we're also getting that kind of content. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and that it was helpful. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.